Crystal from Crystal Sews and Stuff on Instagram. Welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to share with you my makes for August 2018. So the first thing that I want to show you is the linen pants that I've completed. This pattern is New Look 6517, and I made these out of white linen from Joann Fabrics. And these are very comfortable, loose-fitting pants with two pockets. It has a flat front right here, and then there's elastic on the waistband in the back. So I really like these pants. So I only made a few changes on the pants. So the first thing that I made was that I added an inch to the crotch curve, the back crotch curve, on the front and the back of the pants. So let me show you. So what I did was I added an inch right here, and I use this Palmer Plush Perfect pattern paper, and each square is an inch. So I just added an inch from the curve, or the crotch curve, and then I just graded down to nothing to the on the side. So I did that for both the front and back crotch curve. And then the next change that I made was on the pockets. So the pockets just called for you to make to cut out two pieces for the pocket. So and then fold it in. So this is the pocket piece right here. So the instructions just tell you to fold in all the sides and then basically top stitch it around. Well, you top stitch this part down and then sew it on to the pants directly. So what I did instead was I doubled the pockets because Nikki from Sewing at Midnight, she said that her mom made her these pants and the pockets kind of poofed out. And so I decided instead I would just double up the pockets. So what I did was I cut out 4 pieces for the pockets, and then I sewed it all the way around. I top stitched this edge right here, and then after I turned it inside back, right side out, I sewed it onto the pants where the pocket, where the pocket placement lines were. So those are the 2 changes that I made, and I did do a muslin because I was a little nervous about it turning out right, because she said hers were a little bit tight, and so I decided to do a muslin and add the inch to the crotch curve, and it worked out perfectly. So I sewed a size 18, and the fabric again was a linen from Joann Fabrics. So the next thing that I made was this cute little hoodie. So the next thing that I made was a hoodie for my son Charles for his birthday, but he decided to wear it on his first day back to school on Tuesday. So this is the hoodie that I made him. This is really super cute. And the pattern that I used was October, March 2017, pattern number 38. And I sewed a size, I believe it was 134 for him. And it came out really nicely. I did add a hemband, which was not on the pattern. I decided to do the stripes in a different direction, and I also added armbands and did the stripes here, as well as a band on the hood, because they instruct you basically just to turn it under. So I decided to add the bands because I just like the look of that. And so this was a very simple pattern. I sewed it all on my serger except for the band for the hood. I basted it around before I sewed it down, just because because I had to make it a little bit smaller circumference in order to get a snug fit, and I wanted to make sure I had the right length for the band for the hood. This was simple. I just did it the exact same length as the sleeve, as well as did the same thing for the bottom band. So the only tricky part to this pattern was that it came out really long because my son is not that tall, and I believe the pattern company is based in Sweden, and the people are generally taller than they are here in the U.S., and then we're smaller. So I ended up having to take about 3 inches off the bottom because he said it looks like a dress, and I was like, yeah, it does. So I chopped off a few inches off the bottom and then added the band, and I had to take in the band just a little bit to make it fit again. So everything worked out with this pattern, so I really suggest it. Again, that's pattern 38 from the March 2017 issue of October magazine, and I picked up this magazine in Joann's because when I saw it, I was like, I've heard of this magazine. I didn't know Joann sold, you know, pattern magazines. So and I picked it up, and I'm just now getting around to sewing it. So one side has this pretty little girl on it, and the other side has this little boy on the back. So I picked it up right away. I haven't seen this magazine again at Joann's. So I picked it up at Joann's, but you can get back issues online. I'll leave a link in the description box below where you can pick up the pattern. And this pattern is still available online. So, I mean, well, the magazine. You can't order them individually like you can some of the Berta ones. Berta, you can order a lot of their patterns, just buy the one pattern and not get the whole magazine. But this one you have to get the whole magazine, and this is the children's March 2017 issue of the magazine. Oh, and for the fabric, I used this red and white stripe, and this stripe fabric was from Cali Fabrics, and I used this fabric to make an Agnes top previously, and then the blue is from Fabric Mart, just a blue jersey that I picked up from Fabric Mart last year. So that's what the fabric that I used, and really easy to work with, really pretty simple beginner friendly pattern for knits. So the next thing that I made in August was Butterick 5211. Here's a picture of the pattern right here. So I made this dress to attend my cousin's wedding, which was on the 1st. And she had asked me a week before to walk my grandfather down the aisle. I wasn't planning, I hadn't previously planned, I didn't know I was going to be in the wedding. So she asked me to walk my grandfather down the aisle on her wedding day. So I said, well, that's fine, I don't mind. And I didn't think to ask her about my outfit until the rehearsal. So the rehearsal, I just showed her a picture of what I thought I had planned to wear to the wedding, and she said, well, do you have a solid color? Because I was going to wear my Ankara blue and gold outfit, and she said, well, do you have anything more solid? And I said, okay. The only thing I had was a blue ready-to-wear dress that was a little bit too small. So I said, you know what, I'll just make something, don't worry about it. You know, I didn't want to stress her out for her wedding. So I decided to make Butterick 5211 because Nikki said on Sewing at Midnight again, she said that it was a very simple pattern and she really loved it. So I decided to do, what view? I did view C. Let me take it out the plastic. So I did view C. And because I wanted a little bit of flair because of the wedding. So, but I didn't, the directions call for you to add elastic to the sides. And I was like, that's gonna look kind of too poofy. I didn't want it to be like super poofy, but I love the way how it turned out because it comes out more of a flounce when you do that. So I decided not to put the elastic on the sleeves. So that was one change that I made, and the other change that, and this is the blue linen that I picked up at a fabric place here in Baltimore. I really love this blue. So the only other change that I made was to sew up the whole back because you can easily, I did at first leave it open as the directions said, and when I put it on, it was so easy to get over my head. I said, I'm just gonna sew this right on up. So I sewed a size 10 up in the neck area and a 12 around the bust area, and then I graded out to the 14, and I added an extra inch to each side, to the side seams, because my pattern only goes up to size 14, and I'm usually a 16 in the hip area, and I looked at the measurements and my measurements, so I added actually it was just a 1/4 inch to all the side seams to make sure I had enough room in the hips, which pretty much puts me up at a 16 for the hips, because my hips are about 41-ish, depending. So I wanted to have enough ease, you know, for, you know, to be sitting down and walking and everything. So I really like how this turned out, and they do have inseam pockets, and I did interface the side of the pockets. Let me show you real quick. I did use interfacing on the pocket to help them lay flat into the seam, and I also understitched the pockets so that they wouldn't roll out. Okay, so I did understitch both sides of the pocket so the pockets would lay flat, because I've noticed if I don't do that, they'll start poofing up and making me look more hippie. So that's what I did for the side pockets, and I also did the tie belt to go with it, which wasn't part of the version C, it was part of version B, but I just made the tie belt, which made it look a little more formal for the wedding. Only thing is linen, ear wrinkles. But I think it was still perfect for the wedding. It was super warm. Well, it wasn't super hot. It was like 85 degrees or so. So it was a nice weather that day. So that was my last make of the month. So those are the 3 makes that I had for August 2018. And I'll show you some twirlage here. So those are all of my makes for August 2018, and I also wanted to give you a quick update on some of the things I've been working on as well that aren't finished. So because I had to make that blue dress, I didn't get a chance to finish the Berta dress that I was working on. So this is the dress, if you recall from my planning video, I had planned to make this Berta dress right here, and I have started it, and I showed in my last video when I did dye the zipper, and I'll leave a link to the video over here describing how I dyed this zipper. It was a whole process, so check out the video if you haven't had a chance to yet. So far I have sewn the front and the back, and it took me a minute to figure out how to do the sides. So I've basted the corners of it right here that lead into the pockets. Well, the pockets are in the front. So this is basted on. So next I have to work out how to add, so I have to sew up the side seams. So because what they do is they have you sew this part in first, the side part in, and then insert it to the front and the back panels. So I've gotten that done. I did have a little difficulty with the shoulders, but I worked that out, and I think they look nicer now. I had to trim them to get them all even, so I had to unpick that a couple times. And so I'm making a lot of progress. So all I have to do next, I think the next step is to sew up the rest of the side seam and hem the dress and add the line. Well, sew up the rest of the side seams, add the lining, and hem the dress in the lining. So, and I have to add the lining in. So I do have part of the lining in for the side sections, because this was a lot of pieces. It was like 10 pieces or so. So it was a lot. I don't know if I'll be sewing this again just because there's so many pieces. So this might be a one-time deal. So I've sewn this part of the line is for the side panels, and then I'm gonna insert the lining for the front and the back to attach. Oh, can you see it? So this is the front. So there's one front piece like this, and then the two back pieces, and those will attach to the side pieces here. So this is a lot more detailed than I expected. So it's going to take me a little longer to finish it, but I do think I should be able to finish it by the end of the month. So because I'm making really good progress. But sometimes if I get frustrated, I just leave it alone. So I won't have to unpick too much at once. So this is going well. I think I should be done that by the end of the month. And the other thing that I'm working on is a knitting project. It's the Waters Tee by Andy Satterlund. And I'll leave a picture of the pattern, right here. And so far, I'm kind of almost done. So I've done most of the front. So it's a V back. So it dips down in the back, scoop back or whatever. And so I'm done most of the bodice. So this will be the front right here, and then this is the back with the dip back. So next I have like 6 more rows to go. I have a decreased round and 6 more rows to go before I get to the hip shaping section of the pattern. And then all I have to do is finish off the neckline and do some ribbing on the bottom and on the arms. And then I'll be done. So hopefully, the plan is to finish that in September. So it's going pretty well, but it's just, you know, knitting takes a lot longer than sewing. But I'm hopeful that I'll get through it by the end of September, maybe early October. But this is taking a long time. The other thing is, okay, I did this for the outfit along, which was in July. I think it ended in July. But so I was pretty sure I wasn't going to make it by the end of July. But the next time I participate in the outfit along, I'm not going to do anything that's fingering weight, because this is some really thin yarn, and so it takes longer to knit than worsted or DK weight. So if you're a newish knitter like me, probably should stick to worsted and DK, or give yourself more time, or don't get started too late. So, but it's going well. It's not a difficult pattern. It's just a time-consuming pattern for me. I know that it says that it's fast, but for me, it's just not fast. So I'm getting through it. But I think I love the color, this mauve color and the white linen fabric. And if I finish it when it's too chilly outside, I'll just wear long sleeve white shirt under it. I had planned to wear a white tank top under it anyway, a sleeveless white tank top under it. So if it gets too chilly, I can still wear it in the fall if I just wear a long sleeve t-shirt or a turtleneck or something like that with it. Okay, so those are all of my makes for August 2018, as well as 2 of my works in progress that I hope to get completed in September. Thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't already, please subscribe below. Take care. Bye.